The whole world changed quite overnight with digital photography. Now, it started with me in 1996. It's when I first had my first hands on a Kodak DC-20. It was a camera that took 8 high-quality pictures. It didn't even have a screen on the back, but it was digital. It wasn't a great travel camera, but it worked. But the whole thing about it is that we could now see, as the cameras were getting more and more better, I guess, is that we were able to now take more and more photos. And we could just say, oh, we'll just take 100 photos and we'll just fix them up in Photoshop later. Who's thought that in their brain? You never fix it up in Photoshop later. Who's had to sit through 1,000 photo slideshow? Don't invite me to that one if you do. Yeah, so, edit your own slideshow, that's fine. But the whole photography thing is that we're now taking a lot more photographs as well. And so with digital, we were able to process those images ourselves. We were able to connect the cable straight to the camera and to the PC and all of a sudden download our images onto the computer. Well, some of us did. I know that there will be people here who still have photos on their camera from Christmas last year. And I'm sure if I ask for a hands up, somebody might put their hand up. But I guess the problem that we got, this fantastic idea of being able to do everything at home was great, until we started to see that we started to get cables. And cables started to get more. And we started to, cables for this, cables for that, cables for too much connection into the computer, and all of a sudden we realised we're just keeping the phones, the pictures in our cameras, and not really downloading them, not even printing, which is a big thing. We're not seeing as much printing today. And I guess because it's just too hard. But it actually isn't. But I guess it's all about how the technology moves forward and makes it easier for us to be able to use. So then the world got this thing, this little blue trumpet, and it was called Wi-Fi, or Wi-Fi, as they say in Europe. And I just thought, no, it's really Wi-Fi. And they said, and I said, you said Wi-Fi, which is basically Spanish, no, it said Wi-Fi. I said, well, I should know because it was actually invented by the CSIRO in Australia. Did you know that? There you go. So if you didn't know that, that was where it was invented. And this whole world of connection really became such a big thing. We could now connect our laptops to the internet, to our wireless internet network at home. There was a lot of connections. And in 2000 at the Olympics, what actually happened was that Nikon was one of the first companies to use their cameras, their top-end DSLR cameras, DSLR meaning the cameras had interchangeable lenses, and they were taking photos on the field, and the images were being wirelessly transmitted to their office, not to their office, but into the, I'm trying to think of the journalist area. So the pictures were being taken, and the guys there on the computer already feeding these images onto their computers and getting them up online as quickly as possible. That was a big, big thing. We never really saw that as being a very exciting thing because it was incredibly expensive to do. But only about 2 years ago, this company here made iFi. And iFi is a memory card which actually has a built-in Wi-Fi antenna. So this is like an ordinary SD memory card that you'll have in most of your cameras today. They come in 8, 16 and 32 gigabytes now as well. And the whole idea is that as you take a photo with this particular card inside your camera, you can wirelessly send it to your computer. So this particular technology has really taken quite a big step forward, because not only are the memory cards got these Wi-Fi's in there, but the cameras have now got built-in Wi-Fi. If anybody's bought a camera recently, you might have noticed it has the word Wi-Fi on it. You can wirelessly send those images without that Wi-Fi card. Okay, so this is now a new camera that you can go out there, just put a normal SD card into it, and then decide what photos you want to send across to your phone, or to your tablet, or to your computer, using Wi-Fi as a connection. And so there are more ways to connect. And the newest way at the moment that's to connect is this technology known as NFC. NFC stands for Near Field Communication. And if you've got one of those tap and go kind of cards, it's in it. That is the concept of this near field communication. The device talks to, well, the card talks to the device. There's no having to, make sure, we've got the Wi-Fi, it just automatically works. So a great way to be able to just connect devices together using this NFC technology. So Sony, as they've kind of developed this NFC, they kind of went, well, we've got a phone, we'll put NFC and we'll put a camera in there as well. And so pretty much now, this phone just needs to be tapped with that camera, and the camera's connected us to be able to send photos straight across to the phone. But not only does it just allow you to do that, but you can control the camera as well. You can see the image on the phone from this camera. So you can then go, oh, got the camera pointing that way, and I'm looking this way, and I'll just go tap on the phone, and it takes a picture straight away just through the straight connection. This is pretty kind of cool technology. And a camera like this, for example, has 16 megapixels, and it takes amazing images out of a little compact camera. So this particular camera here, known as the RX100, it's just a model that's been out for a while. It's a very high quality camera. It sells for around $600. If you want to find out more about why it's $600, I'll give you a contact and I'll let you know why. But they kind of went, wow, this camera is so good, what if we just took the body away and just kept the lens part? So that's what they did. They took the body away that takes the picture, and they left the sensor and the zoom part, and they've made that bit NFC. So all you've got to do now is literally tap the lens onto the phone, and you have an instant connection of a camera. Not a phone camera, you actually have a high quality compact camera. And the way that this can be used is literally you can be holding the phone like this and then just waving this lens around, taking pictures. Oh, there's a cat inside the fence. Let me put my hand through the fence. No, it wasn't a cat, it was a very angry dog. Yeah? So this whole kind of concept to be able to do it like this and go click and take a photo has just become quite amazing. And the thing actually looks a bit strange because it does have a little clip on so that it does look like a normal camera to your phone. That's how it can actually look. So you just take the clip off and then you just wave it around. Wow, this connection thing is pretty kind of wild. You get some pretty wild images. I mean, I have the RX100, I don't have that bit, and you have some great photos you can take with it. The thing about compact cameras is that they have, because these compact cameras are being a little bit overtaken by phones, you get some amazing quality images out of compact cameras. People still think, oh, you know, I'll just use my phone, but it's the images that you can get out of a phone. I mean, this is, for example, this is known as grainy black and white. This is just a setting in the camera. This is not me going into Photoshop and kind of spending, you know, half an hour on a photo. This is about pressing the button that says grainy black and white, taking the picture, and out it comes. Or this is known as miniaturization. You might hear some of these terminologies, and you can see here that the bridge looks like it's a little miniature bridge, doesn't it? Like a little toy, or toy effect is what they also call it too. Another effect, this is very popular, you might have seen this, is known as color selection. So you can kind of, you go into the camera and you say, oh, I want to take this photograph, but anything that's red, I want the red to come in, but I want everything else to be black and white. So I can choose that particular effect, or another one I can choose is blue. So anything that's blue, I highlight, and this is just about pressing the button and finding the feature, and then just pressing the button, taking the photo. That's a blue one, and that's a yellow one. Now this can be done in Photoshop. This can take about 15 minutes if you're pretty good to do it in a Photoshop environment, but to be able to just pop it out straight out of a compact camera, it's very hard to beat. This is another little setting in that camera. This is my little Rosie, and Rosie, I took her in what was known as a illustration mode. Once again, straight out of the camera. A lot of people kind of go, oh, you must spend a lot of time on the computer. I actually hate editing. My wife loves it, that's why I give her the stuff. I always look for it at the end. So illustration mode, this is called water painting. Again, just pressing the button and looking at the shot, and all of a sudden it just looks like it's been water painted, like the birds. And this is actually the first shot that I realised I had this water painted, because I didn't realise that I had this setting on. I just took the photo, and then as I went back into the room, I kind of went, what the? Ooh, that looks cool. I just kind of wish I had taken a normal picture as well, because I would like to have seen the birds in a normal mode. But what a great effect of just straight out of a little compact camera. And also, a lot of people don't realise that with a compact camera on a tripod, you can get some great night shots as well. Very underestimated. I mean, this can be done with a $400, $300 camera if you know how to drive it. And if you kind of, how many times you take a photo in the dark and it just always seems to take forever? It just never works enough, especially if you're using a camera phone. So, with the old selfie bang straight away, that's the thing about cameras is that they're very instant in taking a photo when you're looking at being quick with a subject. You can't muck around. You can't muck around even without flash. You think about, you can get this kind of result out of your camera phone. It's a bit hard to get this kind of result. This is straight, no flash out of a compact camera. Natural light, the sharpness, the mood of the image. As you can see, sometimes flash can be a little bit, take the mood away, but when you start to be able to shoot in low light situations, you can get a much, much nicer photograph. So obviously with cameras, with compact cameras, you can do quite a fair bit. But if you have an interchangeable lens camera, so your camera, you can change the lenses on them, and some of us have these, you can do these type of photographs. So as you can see here, we've got our subject here, Trevor, beautiful man that I've known for many years. And you see how the background's blurry? It's very hard to do that with a camera phone, but you can do that with an interchangeable lens camera. So if you've got one of those cameras, and I'm just going to throw this up here as well, is that it says low f-stop. So this is where, in a camera, you're adjusting the apertures and the shutters, okay? So, because I don't have a huge mate, oh, what's that mean? I didn't get the number. Moderate, okay, moderate down, okay. The low f-stop number means less things in focus. So if you pick a low f-stop number, there you have a low f-stop, and you can produce this kind of image and send it across wirelessly to your phone and send them up onto the internet. Again, a low f-stop number. And then we have these type of shots where everything's in focus and I use a high f-stop number. Okay, so this is where I'm adjusting the camera itself. This is the type of stuff that we do in our classes where we take these different types of images. High f-stop, everything is in focus from front to back. That's what that's all about. Everything is in focus from front to back. And then you might want to play with shutters, and these are actually cars. This is a 3-second exposure where I put the camera on a tripod. I can do this with a compact camera, I can do or a high quality compact camera, or definitely a DSLR camera. I can play with the shutter speeds, either slow shutters or fast shutters. I can do all that type of stuff with a camera that I can't do with a compact camera. These are all fast shutter speeds. He didn't get that ball, as you can see. Just passing thing. So we can play with a lot with our cameras. These are the type of things that we do in our workshops at Smarter Digital, to be able to show how you can do this with your kind of cameras. But the realism is that we do tend to use our camera phones quite a fair bit. In fact, here's a couple of little stats that I just took from a photo show that happened in Melbourne a couple of months ago. There are 240 million pictures on Facebook. 350 million are uploaded each day with new shared photo albums. So Facebook's quite bad. And I guess the thing is, we take pictures with camera phones and we just do it, right? And we know that they're not great, but they're just there. And we take pictures and we kind of go, yes, so that's our moment of our dog or our kid in the bag. How cute, but how ordinarily looking. And we get those kind of shots. Even when we were using film cameras in days gone past, we even got a better result. Our camera phones are a little bit tough because I always say that we try and take our cameras four-wheel driving. And when they mean, what do you mean? Well, if you go four-wheel driving with a sports car, it doesn't work very well. So we try and force our camera phones into areas that we really can't get the best kind of results out of. They're great for taking before and after pictures. Oh, that was a moment. Yes, that was before, and that's after. So, I guess in the sense of, they do have their place. I actually I was going to put up a photo of a tile that I'm looking for at the moment because we've got an old house, and I've just used my last tile. So when the next one breaks, I need to find a new one. So I'm taking a picture of the tile. I'm not going to use my camera for that, or I'm using my phone for that. So no matter whatever camera you have, no matter whether you spend $3,000 on something like that, or maybe $600 on something like that, or less, at the end of the day, a good quality camera can give you some pretty high quality crap shots. These are taken with quite reasonably good cameras. These are friends who have taken, I haven't taken these pictures because I find it very hard to take bad pictures, but I do let my friends do that very easily. They do have fun. But I guess the thing is that what we need to look at is how can we get our photography, whatever camera we have, better with the device that we've got, whether it's a camera phone or whether it's a real full-on camera. And I'm going to talk about a thing called the composition or the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is about a vision that we have like this. And this is called noughts and crosses, if you haven't played noughts and crosses. And what we find out with photography is that a lot of our subjects are placed in the middle of our photo. Would we agree? No. Yeah, you might think. I mean, some of us haven't, especially people who've already been with me before, thank you. So, but we tend to always place our subject in the middle. And that kind of works because, you know, well, there it is. Our camera focuses what's in front of us. But I want us to think about this being the no-go zone. I almost want you to think about other areas to put your subject in, the green zones that can make your photo a little bit more interesting. And also looking at horizons too. Does a horizon always have to be in the middle? Does the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which apparently is going to be straightened very soon, does it always have to be in the middle all the time? And so I want you to force yourself to think about this. Now here's a shot in the middle, that works. There's a shot in the middle, that works. It works. But you've got to start thinking that if you start putting these nice images, and Facebook people get this all the time, oh, have a look at my 500 photos. I've only got 10 minutes, okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because they're already looking in the middle of the picture. So they know that where the subject is all the time, always in the middle. And it works if you kind of know how to play with it. It does work. But what if you were to place your subject to the side? To the side, to the left. And look at these shots here. You'll see your eye now goes from left to right, to left, to right, to left, to right. You can start seeing why my images are a little bit more different. You probably went, oh, they're kind of nice because your eye is now moving around. Here's a horizon in the middle, in the middle. Okay, I actually got down on the ground for this shot here because I saw the reflection in the water. But I also made the horizon higher in this shot here. Or I made the horizon, oh actually, sorry, I meant there's my low horizon, which I meant to say earlier. I do add this. There's my low horizon, there's my middle horizon, and there's my high horizon, which is what I was trying to go with there. And also the little sneaky cat up there. And you know, a thing about photos as well, that the cat's faces always look a lot better than cats' bums. This is just something I do kind of see lots of cat stuff, and there's always lots of bums. So, but can we do the same with camera phones? Hey, you know something? If you know how to take a picture and look at composition, these are all out of camera phone. These work when you know how to take that shot. Whether you are using a camera phone or whether you're using a $3,000 camera, it doesn't really matter. You've got to start looking at that composition as a starting point. And I find that a lot of people, when they start to get their head around this whole concept of composition, then they build up from that and we start to look at even indoor stuff. Fill the screen, fill the screen, fill the screen, fill the screen. If you are taking photos and you find that you are cropping your photographs in your computer, who's doing that? Yeah, get closer. Get closer. Fill the screen. Even a night shot. If you look, I use an iPhone 4. Okay then? iPhone 5 is better. I very rarely try to use it because I always had a camera with me anyway, but this night I didn't. So low light, I mean look, out of the camera phones, it's hard to build on those shots, we'll go a little better there. So camera phones are, the ability of taking a photo is not really about the camera, but the person who's pushing the button.